What are Donald Trump's options in Iran?
Over the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages.
In his speech, President Trump didn't, as many thought he might, set a firm timeline for the end of his campaign. But he did say America was very nearly done. There's no doubt that America's Air Force can keep up this bombing campaign. But it is also suffering some attrition of its own. America has lost more than a dozen MQ-9 Reaper drones, which can be worth up to $30 million each. And in recent days, an Iranian missile struck an E-3 Sentry AWACS plane on the ground in Saudi Arabia. In his speech on April 1st, the president made no mention of ground troops. But the fact is, American Marines, paratroopers, and special forces are still massing in the region. One of the targets for a ground operation could be Hog Island, a territory in the north of the Persian Gulf that is responsible for channeling 90% of Iran's oil exports to the rest of the world. It would be possible for Mr. Trump to seize that island with the forces that are building up in the theater today. The question is how costly and difficult it could be to hold and resupply those forces under the constant barrage of Iranian drone and missile fire. Mr. Trump does appear to be stepping back from his overall aim of reopening the Strait of Hormuz, something he has repeatedly demanded of Iran.
The countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage.
Mr. Trump also insisted that Iran's nuclear threat, ostensibly the reason for this war, was now gone. Nuclear experts are highly skeptical of that claim. There are still more than 400 kilograms of highly enriched uranium sitting under the rubble at Iran's nuclear sites that were bombed last year. Nuclear experts are deeply concerned that this war could end with Iran in possession of enough material, if further enriched, for more than 10 nuclear bombs. As the president weighs how long to carry on this war, he'll have to keep one eye on his polls at home. This week, Mr. Trump's net approval hit minus 20 percentage points. That's worse than the president's previous low of minus 16 in 2017. Mr. Trump says he is negotiating with Iran's leaders. In fact, he says that Iran's leadership is desperate for a deal. There is little evidence that is the case. Iran appears to be sitting relatively comfortably. It is in control of the Strait of Hormuz. And according to the Economist's calculations, remarkably, Iran seems to be earning more in oil exports now than it was before the war began. And crucially, Iran's leaders, unlike Mr. Trump, are not facing midterm elections in 8 months.